Hello everyone, Volfey here. We have reached the end of the series. Only Illidan has left, waiting, kneeling, pondering. It is time to wrap this whole thing up. Behind 25 brave souls, Akama is shifting his weight from foot to another, nervously squeezing his sides as he wants to hurry up everyone to kill the betrayer. But he knows he can't do much without the noble help of the group. Alas, time is nigh, and he sees the raid leader approaching him with determination and hungry look in his eyes, behind which one lust hides. Alright, fight begins after Illidan vs Akama Squabble Rabble initiating phase 1. Abilities boss uses are: melee, hits quite hard and fast. With mitigations, the tank can still get hit up to 10k combined main hand and offhand. Sheer, mitigatable offensive ability that if successful will decrease affected player's HP by 60% for 8 seconds. Does not have to be a tank necessarily, we'll come to that in a minute. It can be blocked, parried or dodged. Flame Crash is a circle of fire that the boss summons under the tank in a 5 yards radius. Deals 5000 fire damage to everyone, including pets standing in it. Regular don't stand in fire mechanic. Draw Soul is an interesting ability. It is sort of a cleave but a heal as well. Everyone who is in front of the boss gets instantly drained for up to 5000 shadow damage, and every drain heals the boss for a whopping 100,000. So it's imperative to be behind the boss at all times and debuff the boss with decreased healing. Lastly, in phase 1 is Parasitic Shadow Fiend. Random raid member gets debuff that deals 3000 damage every 2 seconds for 10 seconds, and at the end will spawn 2 Shadow Fiends that will tag the raid. Kill them before they reach anyone else. Tactic is tank and spank and deal with Shadow Fiends. Raid position is in the middle. Melee is behind the boss. Mages and elementals focus down the Shadow Fiends. Tank will start tanking the boss on the left side and pull the boss to the right every flame crash. Once the boss reaches 65% HP, phase 2 will start with the boss flying up in the air. Phase 2 abilities. Fireball, casted frequently on random raid members that deals 2500 fire damage and splashes everyone in 10 yards radius for the same amount. I-Beam, casted every 30 seconds in 4 possible lines that deal about 30,000 fire damage on initial hit, but fire on the ground deals much less. Fun fact, apparently fire on the ground can be spell reflected and killed, but can't confirm it on the live server. If someone can confirm it, please let me know down in the comments. Dark Barrage is casted on a random player and channeled for 10 seconds, dealing high shadow damage, needing spam heal. However, it is possible to evade it with Divine Shield, Ice Block, even Feign Death will work. Lastly, boss will summon 2 Flames of Azeroth that need to be tanked by fire resistance tanks on 2 sides. Flame of Azeroth abilities are Fire Damage Melee, Flame Blast, Cone Cleave attack that deals 5000 fire damage, so must be turned away from the raid and melees. Blaze leaves a fire spot on the ground that deals 5000 damage per tick in 8 yards radius every second. Blaze comes merely 1 second after Flame Blast Cone attack. Sigma Fire Tank that has a spatial awareness and uber reflexes can stack multiple fire stacks on one spot. Lastly, if Flame of Azeroth is taken too far away from a glaive, it will enrage and one-shot everyone. Also will charge Battle Rest and Ankhed targets. Tactics for this phase is to stack in 3 or 4 groups. Fire as tanks, pick up Flames of Azeroth and kite them, something like this. There is no schoolbook on how to do it, since it depends on I-Beam RNG. DPSers focus down one and then the other flame. Healing will be intensive. COHs and Resto Shamis on the raid, Holy Paladins on tanks, Druids, hot bow tanks, don't over aggro, don't stand in flames, and don't get hit by blue I-beams. Healing assignments can be changed in case of wipe, depending on what healing setup you're running with. Once both flames are dead, phase 3 commences, so everyone get the out of the middle. MD boss to the main tank and don't stand in front of him. Phase 3 abilities are the same as in phase 1. Melee, Sheer, Flame Crash, Parasitic Shadow Fiends, but now there are Agonizing Flames as well. It is casted on a random player as a 1 minute debuff that deals 40,000 damage but gradually increases as it's going to an end. It is important for everyone to spread further than 6 yards from one another. Phase 3 will last for 1 minute until Illidan turns into demon and starts phase 4. which will also last for a minute and then go back to phase 3. These two phases will switch as long as the boss has more than 30% HP. It is possible to skip this phase, however, if you keep Bloodlust for it, or just have sufficient DPS. Anyway, phase 4 demon phase is where you need to use a warlock tank. Boss transforms into a huge black figure and gets Aura of Dread, which does not allow players in melee range. Deals shadow damage and stacks a debuff which increases shadow damage taken. After acquiring the target, the boss starts casting Shadow Blast, which deals high shadow damage and splashes 20 yards radius around the target. Apart from that, another occasional ability is Flame Burst, which is casted on entire raid and deals about 3000 fire damage and splashes 5 yards radius. So a 6 yards radius DBM window for agonizing flames is useful for this phase as well. Lastly, the most important mechanic in this phase is Shadow Demons. 4 of these beholder-like demons are summoned by Illidan during each of his demon form phases. Each will lock on a random raid member with a bright purple ray that stuns them, and it's not removable by any method short of demon's death, and will begin to slowly drift towards the player, completely ignoring all aggro. If a demon reaches its target, it will one-shot that player with Consume Soul, then pick a new target, stun, and repeat the process. And yes, multiple shadow demons can lock on the same target. Tactics are fairly easy. As a warlock tank, cancel your salvation, summon Imp for stamina, spam Searing Pain for threat, stay max range from Illidan, and wear shadow resistance gear of course. Once Illidan is locked on lock tank, ranged DPS can continue. Raid should spread and use the entire area. First row is some ranged DPSers, second row is healers mainly, and all the way in the back is the main tank, off tanks and melees. Holy Paladin and Rescue Druid should full-time heal lock tank. Shortly before Shadow Demons are spawned and chosen their targets, Locks can start casting Seed of Corruption on Illidan. Hunters can place traps nearby boss, and Shamans can put Earthbind totems. AoE and kill all demons as soon as possible. In case there is one on the Warlock tank, focus it down first. Apart from that, demons are stunnable as well. Trick I used while lock tanking to get an instant brutal amount of threat on Illidan was casting Curse of Doom 4 or 5 seconds into the phase 3, which will trigger just as he stands up in phase 4, followed by Searing Pain and then Shadow Ball spam. It is very important not to be specced into Nether Protection, cause if it procs, Illidan will ignore you fully and slap the raid. When Illidan kneels down and starts transition back into phase 3, stop all DPS and let main tank get the threat on the boss. MDs can help. When you finally reach 30%, Maya will show up for the feast as well. Long RP will help you regen mana and cooldown, starting phase 5. It is basically a phase 3 and 4 switch again, but with the help of Maiev. Every once in a while she will put down a trap at a random location. If there is no risk of wiping the raid or regenerating Illidan, go for it. Trap will immobilize the boss and make him take 100% decreased damage. The threat table is still there though. Apart from that, Illidan will gain occasional enrage, which lasts for 20 seconds. Spam heal the tank, and tank should go for defensive cooldowns, Nightmare Seed, Last Stand, Iron Shield Potion, etc. If you have dead DPSers, rather go for additional demon phase, phase 4, than to risk over-aggroing tank or healing the boss. By this point, Illidan should be dead. Additional remarks per phases. In phase 1, just before pull precast and pre-hot main tank, as he starts getting pummeled right away. DPSers pop demon slaying and hunters can help with shadow fiends with traps. Phase 2. Sigma fire tanking, flame stacking is a trick you can use as a secondary flame tank to economize on space available for tanking, because you can't pull flame too far away, as it enrages. Guilds usually bloodlust here, since it's easiest to wipe due to healers going or just too many fire patches on the ground killing one of the tanks. In phase 3 should be about time to reapply demon slaying. Also there is tactic where you don't bloodlust in phase 2 but now in phase 3 and push Illidan to 30% even as he starts transforming into a demon. That way you skip straight into phase 5 and Maiev. Phase 4, look at the fire blast counter and don't get greedy. Also be at least 20 yards away from the log tank due to splash of shadow blast. Phase 5, when Maiev spawns a trap, make sure to either wait for draw soul and then kite boss, or just order a raid to shift further away to one side so you can strafe lead the boss onto the trap. Good luck on getting those glaives, and remember,
you are not prepared!
This is it for this one. Stay safe and have fun playing the game. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!